Hello and welcome to Sam's on Wrestling. We are here with a very special episode today. We are doing a brackets episode. That is where we take... we can see these though. Hopefully you do put them on the screen so we can see them. We are looking at John Cena's 32 best matches.
Yeah, I'm excited for this.
Had.
I hope he adds to them this year.
Oh yeah,
I hope he adds to
absolutely.
them.
I think he will.
I think he will. I'm hoping he does because he hasn't for a while. None of these are probably since 2016, I think.
But what will happen is he's going to get in a rhythm and he's going to get really back into ring shape again,
I'm hoping
which
so.
he's not really had.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited to see that. But yes, we are going to look at 32 of his best matches. They're not seeded at all. These are in tournament brackets. And why don't we seed them, Sam?
Because if you seeded them, you've already ranked them.
Exactly. Now,
I never get to say that.
Yeah, it's fun to say, isn't it?
I got scared then. You asked me, I was like, oh my god, what's the quote?
Not easy being me, is it, Sam?
You've been quoting it for 5 months.
Walking a mile in my shoes. Yeah. I did the heavy lifting. So yes, I am the judge for this one. It's usually the other way around, but today I'm going to be the judge. But Sam will get 5 vetoes because, he's getting on now and we've got to give him something before he goes. So yes, he now gets...
I remember all of Cena's matches.
As do I, mainly. So... he will get 5 vetoes. He can't use those for one match more than twice, and he can't use them from the semi-finals onwards. And I think that's all the admin out of the way.
Fantastic. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe.
There we go. Well, let's admin.
And let's go and start off. We do the top half of the draw first. Let's find out which is the greatest John Cena match of all time.
So to kick things off for the first match of our brackets, we have his match against Cesaro in a US Open Challenge from Raw in 2015, banger of a match, and CM Punk Money in the Bank 2011. So,
right. Should we have a chat about Cesaro?
Yeah, sorry, this might be the only chance we get. Sorry.
Do you know what? I love that Open Challenge. Yeah. It's one of the best things. It's the moment that Cena changed and became the wrestler. For the next 2 years, Cena put on so many high level. There are matches that could be on this list that didn't make the list. His match with Ryder, Dean Ambrose. I think he actually had another one with Cesaro as well, actually. It's not on that list. Couple with Rusev, Sami Zayn.
You have one with Barrett as well. That was
Barrett,
really good,
none of them have made that from this year's Open Challenge because there's so many matches. It turns out Cena, by the way, if anyone doesn't think Cena can work, we're about to show you 32 matches that prove Cena can work. Yeah. These are great matches. The Cesaro match is fantastic. He works so well with Cena.
Yeah.
If they'd have had a feud on the match, they would have been amazing. They had chemistry.
Real chemistry.
Oh, they were
power
wonderful.
versus power.
It was.
And they're both very athletic.
But it's European power versus American power. Brute force versus kind of clever use of the ring and psychology. It's a wonderful match. It was really, really well done.
Yeah, this is the best match in the US Open Challenge, and that's saying something.
I think so. Yeah. I think so. But... it's not going to overtake CM Punk Money in the Bank 2011.
It's a corker, innit?
Yeah, it's really good. We'll get to that, I think, later on.
Of all time.
When we have a tougher decision, so we'd like to put that through.
I think Punk's going through.
CM Punk Money in the Bank 2011 goes through to the next round.
So we have an interesting little tie in the next fixture. We have Seth Rollins at SummerSlam 2015, where Jon Stewart kind of starts.
I mentioned Jon Stewart.
Well, he's in there. It's part of the match. And Umaga at the Royal Rumble 2000. An absolute barnstormer.
7.
Oh,
2007.
2000's on the mind again.
This is, at this point, John Cena's best match, I think, up to this point. Yeah. He'd had some good ones that are on this list as well, but I tell you what, he'd always had... And by the way, I'm not saying that this is better than those, but he had matches with people who could work. This is the first time he took on somebody who Cena had to lead. And it turns out, by the way, Umaga's a wonderful worker. He was a great worker. This was great.
Had no right to be so.
No, everyone was booing Cena, but by the end of this, we were like, this is a fantastic match. No one expected this match against Umaga, and he made Umaga still look strong. That's the key. That was one of the few times that Cena made someone come out looking stronger in defeat, which very rarely happened. You think of Bray Wyatt and Rusev and all that, who got downgraded.
Yeah. And that is absolutely a thing, but no one talks about this match and goes, oh, Cena buried Umaga.
What a fantastic last man standing, and he had to choke him with the ring ropes that he had torn out after Umaga tried to use it for a Samoan spike. That's awesome. That's clever. Never been seen or done since. It was brilliant. Seth Rollins, SummerSlam 2015, it's really good.
It is.
It's
really
95% of fantastic in-ring work.
It's a crime that it ends this way. Seth got screwed over 2 SummerSlams in a row because he had this, and then the next year he had a really good match with Finn, but everyone was chatting about the belts. It wasn't even the injury.
And Finn does a shoulder which ruins the match. It's a terrible match. Finn just does 19 drop kicks because he can't do any other move.
Well, I mean, that shoulder or no shoulder.
Yeah, but
yeah, absolutely.
It's the Jon Stewart ending.
Yeah.
It's one of the worst endings in a match history. When we do some sort of either brackets or some sort of top 10 on worst endings, it's there. I don't get it. It makes no sense. In kayfabe or in shoot. Because he literally went, I didn't want Cena to break Ric Flair's record. And you're like, it's not real. But also at the same time, you're there going, you're just breaking kayfabe by saying that, I don't want him to be the one who... Because he had to go at Brock for beating The Undertaker. At WrestleMania, he went, that's how matches work.
What he's supposed to do.
Oh, Jon Stewart thing. I felt so sorry. And his shirt and his tummy came out from the... yeah. It's a really good match. Cena and Rollins' chemistry is fantastic.
And you know what to say? That they put that performance in knowing the finish.
I think so. I think so.
Do you think that was like chip on the shoulder thing?
I think it's such a big match. It was for both titles.
Massive match.
Match champion versus champion.
Really
for both
big
titles.
for Seth as well.
And Seth walks out with the United States WWE Championship, and no one's talking about it. They're talking about Jon Stewart. So can we please put a marker through to the next round? A marker through to the next round.
So wow, we have a match up for you.
Wow,
this is the beauty of not seeding things. Oh my god! So we've got. I don't know how we can do this. The Firefly Funhouse match against the Royal Rumble 2015 Triple Threat, Lesnar, Cena and Rollins. What did we do here?
You've got to look at it. You can't compare them.
No.
You've got one that's essentially kind of like a meta dream, and you've got one that is a 5-star Dave Meltzer, which is very rare. 2, deservedly so. 3, everyone's got their working boots on. 4, the characters work so well together. And 5, the pay-per-view is so bad, but this shining beacon is on there. I genuinely don't know what you do with it, but I do have an answer.
Okay, so what I'd say is...
So you go, but I have an answer.
The Triple Threat is potentially the best Triple Threat match of all time.
It really could be.
And that is what we are talking about.
Wow, Jesus.
But it's also against... maybe the best cinematic match of all time.
It is the best cinematic match of all time. Yeah.
So what?
Do you know what? The only ones I could compete with are AEW ones, actually.
Yeah. So ultimately, you have to go. Well, what style do you like? Because that Triple Threat against most other matches on this would win hands down.
This Triple Threat match could make the final. Firefly match can make the final.
Either of these, I can make a case for winning.
Yeah,
genuinely.
I have an answer.
What's your answer?
My answer is the Firefly Funhouse, and the reason being, it's so different and unique in the history of wrestling, and worked and succeeded, because it could have failed and died miserably, so much so they were actually asking for it to happen to Randy at 37, and I don't know why they didn't, that I think, as much as I think the Seth Rollins-Brock Lesnar match is one of the greatest matches of all time, you cannot ignore one of the most special moments, and quite frankly, one of the only reasons to watch the WrestleMania 30... I will refuse to watch WrestleMania 36, it's so bad I can't watch it, but I tell you what I have watched. I have repeatedly watched Firefly Funhouse, and the day I found out about Bray Wyatt passing, I went and watched it. Yeah. It was the first thing I did was watch it, and that just shows you something. I haven't massively gone back to watch Seth Rollins, Brock Lesnar, but I've gone back and watched this at least 3 times. I personally think it should be Firefly Funhouse, which is... This is a final to me. This is unbelievable. What do you think? You've got the comment.
God. Right, okay. Well,
there's a judge being difficult being the judge, isn't it?
It's not easy. Well, what I think I'm going to go for the Triple Threat, and I agree with every single thing you said. I think it is a wonderful piece of art. It's just magic, and the fact that Cena actually wrote a lot of that, and Bray.
It sounds like mainly Cena. From the sounds of it.
And Bray obviously did have a really big hand in it.
Over 2 days they came up with that. Because that changed from the COVID thing. Yeah. They were going to have a normal match. And
they had said, we're going to have a Firefly Funhouse match, and no one knew what it was.
What's that? Mm.
And Cena was like, great. Awesome.
Oh, Cena's great. He was like, that's when Cena's mind comes in. Wow, he's so good.
I just think the Triple Threat for me, I'm going to say that as a judge. You can veto it, but you're going to have to veto it.
I am vetoing it.
I can't turn my back on the Triple Threat.
That's the only way I think this is going to win, is someone had to veto the other. Whatever decision you made, it was going to get vetoed. I think, generally, I'm putting the Firefly Funhouse through.
That breaks my heart.
It breaks my heart, because I think the Triple Threat arguably is a semi-final, final contender, but I am putting the Firefly Funhouse.
If we had brackets of Triple Threat matches, I think that would win.
Could win!
And that's without first round, it's gone!
Oh, God.
So whilst
Cena's got a lot of numbers of matches. Wow.
This is impressive.
Wow.
So whilst I'm trying to get over what we've just already done, well, he's already
I
just
wonder
done.
if the left-hand side of the board
He's just full of like...
It's all the
Cena
bangers,
versus Orton.
and the right-hand side is just nothing. Yeah.
We've got Punk at SummerSlam 2011.
Yeah, SummerSlam.
And Brock Lesnar at Extreme Rules 2012.
I think what people forget about the Punk one is Punk wins.
Yeah, he does.
And he wins with a screw finish. I believe Triple H is and Cena has his spot on the right.
Yeah,
I believe. But most people's mind has Del Rio cashing in and it ends there. Like, I think people have forgotten how this match works. It's not as good as their Money in the Bank, which does this match a disservice. And that's the annoying thing about this match. Watch this match. It's very good. But it's like an 8 out of 10 level match, which you don't get often. In main events, you still don't get 8 out of 10 level matches.
Yeah.
But the Punk one is like potentially a 10 out of 10
10.
at Money in the Bank. And it just becomes forgotten. Do you know how I see this?
Yeah.
This is the example, and this is why I always will say Eddie Guerrero is one of the greatest. The first one, Money in the Bank, is called in the ring. This one isn't. And I'm not saying they didn't call it in the ring, but the first one, they went, what are you going to do? And they're like, we'll call it in the ring. Yeah. And then this one, obviously, they planned and prepared stuff. And I think you can just see it. If you're going to compare what makes something amazing, watch Eddie and Ray. They didn't plan much. Halloween Havoc, I don't think they planned much, and they produced that unbelievable classic.
I absolutely agree. Do you think it could have to do with Triple H being the referee, so they wouldn't have a trained referee?
Yeah, you still mean there's a lot going on.
Even not a trained referee that knows really how to referee to help call them through.
Who knows? Do we agree that Brock's probably going to go through here? We're going to talk about Brock later.
That is an unbelievable match. The wrong winner, John, and that might be.
We'll get to that, but I think in this case we won't talk about it much because I think it pretty clearly wins here.
Yeah,
we'll put Brock Lesnar through with from Extreme Rules in 2012, and we'll talk about that definitely with its opponent.
Next up, we have Randy Orton.
Proper different ends of Cena here.
Yeah, I know, very different ends of the spectrum. We have Randy Orton Bragging Rights 2009, the 60-minute Iron Man match.
No DQ, no countouts.
No,
which hadn't really happened.
Electrocuted them and all that shenanigans. It was actually really good.
Is it Kane and Shane? Was the testicles out?
Well, we've done Cena and Orton a bazillion times, but they actually ended it very well. And then you've got Kurt Angle at No Mercy 2003, which you will know more about.
Cena's best ever match on the main roster at this point. Like, he'd not had a match yet. He had a decent-ish one with The Undertaker at Vengeance. He had a meh one with Backlash with Brock. They hadn't really done a match yet with him where you went Cena can work. This match with Angle's really good. Cena taps.
Yeah.
Cena taps, which doesn't happen often because Cena's still heel. And Angle leads him through an excellent match. Kurt Angle, I think, could... You know when people say you could go with a broom and all that? I would love to see Kurt Angle get some of the worst wrestlers of all time. And I reckon Kurt could have still got a great
John
match.
Gonzalez.
I'd love to have seen it.
Yeah.
I'd have loved to have seen it. I still reckon Kurt could have made it.
Yeah.
Bragging Rights 2009. It's not up there with the upper echelons of Iron Man matches. There are better Iron Man matches.
Yeah.
I can name 3 just off the top of my head immediately without even having to think about the other ones. But it's really good.
It's really good.
I hate Cena versus Orton. Yeah. Hate it. I don't want to watch it again. It's going to happen this year. It might have already happened by the time this video goes out, for all I know. I'm not watching it again. Even if I have to, I'm not watching it. I'll watch it through Rose. I'll have a drink and watch it.
I've done that for years.
Yeah, I haven't drank 5 years.
Yeah.
I can't deal with it.
Yeah.
But it's better than the Kurt Angle match because it's bigger, it's grander, and they do so much more creative stuff. Doesn't he because this is now age where I'm in and out. Doesn't he handcuff him to? No, it's the I Quit match.
That's
the problem. That's the problem.
It does blur into one.
So tell me more about the Bragging Rights one.
Bragging Rights. So it's again 60 minutes. He wins like 5-4 or something. I think. Cena gets him in an STF and then Orton taps immediately, which is quite clever psychology.
Well, they do that in a lot of these ones, but I like that too.
Yeah, and then I think Orton does one where he uses weapons. Oh no, so it doesn't get DQ'd, but he uses underhanded means, electrocutes him. It's very like hardcore weapon based.
Yeah,
but it's really when you get to the last minute because the idea is that Cena will leave and go to SmackDown if he loses.
Oh, yes.
And I think if he wins...
That's been a stipulation for Cena a lot. That was a stipulation against Edge and TLC 2006.
Yeah,
he never leaves Raw.
Never happens.
Bragging Rights, I think, 2009. His first great match, but he's still not upper echelon Cena yet.
Yeah, agreed.
But I always think we have to acknowledge somebody doing a great match early in their career. And
agreed.
That match with Angle's really good, but Bragging Rights.
They do not get any easier because now we've got Edge in the TLC match at Unforgiven 2006 against Kevin Owens at Battleground 2015.
So the Battleground one is the rubber match. So it's the third one, the one that Cena does win.
Owens won at the Chamber.
Yeah, and
Cena
then
won
Money in the Bank.
Yeah. And then,
I'll talk about Edge, that's next to mine. You can talk about Kevin Owens. That match is fantastic. It had no right to be. Cena is at this point now. He's getting booed by everybody. No one's enjoying him. We've just had RVD at One Night Stand. Again, this is, we just talked about it. You will leave SmackDown. He kind of gave away the result. But that FU off the top of this ladder through two... Edge, what you doing, man?
Iconic.
Stop it. He took it kind of like it was like he was doing a sit down, but that match is fantastic. And this is why I look at WWE a lot of the time. I go, guys, and a little bit AEW, do one-on-one ladder matches. They're the better matches. Yes, you can do all these amazing multi-man and they can get tired, so they bring in the next person and do their next flip. No, it's a battle of
Selling
wits.
is good.
It's a battle of wits between two people to try and get to that belt. And you got to stop them and you got to do underhanded ways to tie them. It's so much better. If you compare a one-on-one match to a 6-man and you're there going, so you've been hit by one thing and you're out, but you're there going in a one-on-one match, you get that hit, then you've got to come back. Yeah. It's so much better. This match is fantastic. Though I have one gripe.
Go on.
And it's
them holding the ladder.
No.
I like that, but
safety.
People do go at that.
Safety.
Yeah,
you're wrong. You just don't have.
No, I
camera.
agree.
That was camera work. Edge when he poses because Cena went, you can pick everything, and he goes, "You're in my hometown of Toronto. Great. In my match, a match I've never lost," and I'm like, TLC 3. You've lost TLC 3. Benoit and Jericho won that match.
Maybe he forgot all the blows to the chair.
He's not lost one as a singles guy, but he hasn't had many.
He hasn't been pinned in one. So
Kevin Owens Battleground 2015.
Oh, magical! I think I might shave Edge, but this trilogy. I was saying before, I would when Cena does have his run. I want.
He's in it.
Well,
he
is that. But after Mania, I want to see Owens and Cena.
Yeah, I do.
Because this was magical. It was the best way to make a start at Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
And it did get him over massively.
Yeah.
Just amazing. I think the trouble is they all kind of blur into one for me. Those three.
They do. I remember the first one. The other two blur in. The
Yeah.
first one is crystal clear in my mind.
Actually, that's Because I remember him winning very.
And
very
I will talk about the first one if it does come on the list. I can't remember if it's on the list or not. But the first one is clear in my mind. The other two just blur. They're excellent matches though. But I do think Edge's TLC will go for it. We do seem to like gimmicks.
Oh, we do.
Out of all of the ones that have gone through so far, only one has been non-gimmicked.
Ahead of Lester and Rollins.
I prefer Jurassic Park.
One move. One mandible claw.
Edge, Unforgiven 2006.
Yeah. So now we move to The Rock at WrestleMania 28, once in a lifetime at the time. Depends on your lifetime. And Chris Jericho, SummerSlam 2005. Now, I'm not very familiar with Jericho at SummerSlam.
It's literally the week before Jericho gets fired. He gets carried off going, "No, let me have another go, Bischoff, I'm sorry." Jericho understands wrestling. People complain that, that's the way you want Jericho to go out. I was like, yeah, it was Jericho's idea as a heel. Yeah. Getting carried out by security is great. This match is solid. It's a very solid match. It's early Cena. Jericho is still carrying and leading. It's really good. But it's a very forgotten match, I would say, in 2005. And that's the problem with it. It just becomes a bit of a sleeper hit. A lot of people, you watch it and go, it's actually not that bad, this match, because it's early Cena. And early Cena's a bit sloppy. It's a bit all roundhousey a little bit. It's not quite as tight and as crisp as he does become. But Jericho, when he's on it, can be quite sloppy himself, but when he's on it, it's very smooth, Jericho. And this match is actually a very smooth match. And it wasn't quite clear who was going to win, which always helps. We didn't know, because Jericho just turned heel. Sadly, this should have been Christian. It was you with them, the rivalry, and they went, Christian's not big enough. So you can have a triple threat at Vengeance and then bye-bye Christian. And that was it for Christian. He went, that's it. I'm going, I'm leaving. TNA, I'm gone. This is it. The Rock 28, it's the better match of the two.
It is.
It's actually a good match. It's people go Rock's in. It's actually fine. It's actually good. I actually enjoy it.
It falls into the same category as Hogan and The Rock.
Yeah, it does.
But in terms of the crowd making it the spectacle, but actually, if you look at the wrestling, it's much better.
Better wrestling.
Hogan and Rock.
Yeah.
It's really well done. Yeah. And the finish is great. The psychology of Cena getting arrogant and trying to play around because he thinks he's got it.
I wish they turned him heel. I know we couldn't. We've talked about this in other past in videos as well. You can't just turn someone heel if they're so beloved. But that was the time. That was the time you could have done it, even if it was just for a year.
Yeah. That
was the time. And this is the thing I pitched. I didn't pitch for him to be a heel. I pitched for him to start losing.
Yeah.
And the Rock match was his redemption.
Well, they even tried to retcon it by saying this has been the worst year of my career. Wins Money in the Bank. Has all these main events.
He won the title.
Rock.
He won the title.
Yeah. No, he didn't win the title.
He did.
No, not in 2012.
Did he not?
Punk was champion the entire time.
Oh, Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
I forgot. I've got confused it with him winning after Miz. I'm confused with 27. But he still wins all the time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if they've had him lose every single pay-per-view, then win the Rumble as your redemption, that Rumble thing would have been better because you might have got him with doubt because he's lost I would have had him lose every single pay-per-view. He drew to Punk in a match. It's ridiculous. But I think The Rock's does peak. Jericho's is a sleeper hit, but Rock's is better.
Yeah. So now we have, I believe it's a Backlash, Randy Orton, Edge and Shawn Michaels in the Fatal 4-Way with Cena.
2007?
Yes. I think so, yeah. One of the best finishes to a match I've seen.
It's after Mania 23.
Yes,
anyway.
And then Daniel Bryan at SummerSlam 2013.
It doesn't get easier. If you're sat there right now going, oh yeah, that's good. Oh yeah, that's good. So far, well, I think we've seen 3 that I'd go, yeah, they're okay. But okay, but Cesaro is one of them. Like Jericho. Yeah. This is also very, very good. This is our final match in the top half of the draw. To get to the last 16. Where do you go with this? Because I know how I'm looking at this match. Everyone talks about that Fatal 4-Way, but they only talk about the ending. Okay? And let's be honest, that's all you need. Daniel Bryan is better. That match, again, is not talked about because everything that happened afterwards. And also, I think Cena leaves, doesn't he? I think he goes away from it.
He does. He did surgery.
Yeah. So this match is the better match, but that finale is one of the greatest endings to a multi-man match I've ever seen.
Yes.
It's so good. So where do you go? Do you remember much of that Fatal 4-Way? Not really.
Nothing other than the finish.
I don't remember much. I've seen it a few times, but it kind of blurs. But I remember that finish as crystal clear as anything has ever had. But that Daniel Bryan match is phenomenal. And it made Bryan a star. It made him a mega star because he beat Cena clean with a new move.
Well, okay, can we acknowledge, right? So they were planning on having, Orton cash in and then Bryan have an entirely little feud with Orton and going back down the card.
That was the plan.
Why do you have him beat Cena clean then?
Makes no sense.
Because you've made the star.
You've made the star, yeah.
And then you're just going, okay, immediately, no. What are you doing? Where's the vision? At least have Cena win or have some kind of controversy if you don't want that. It
made no sense.
No, but
he made a star to then not him to have that.
And then we got behind the star that you'd made, and then you were like, "Oh no, don't cheer him. Go for the big show."
It's weird, but
I digress.
But that didn't happen. No. You can only talk about what happens on camera. It's a big thing. I always say we know the behind the scenes, but at the end of the day, it's a TV show, and if you don't follow the behind the scenes, you would just assume that was part of the show. You can say it wasn't. Bryan went to WrestleMania 30, but we're talking about the matches, Sam.
So I would go Bryan.
I would also hedge Bryan, but I'm going to say that if you've not seen the ending to the Orton, Edge, Shawn Michaels Fatal 4-Way Backlash 2007, go and watch it. It's one of the best endings to a Fatal 4-Way, maybe ever. It's probably best Fatal 4-Way. It's up there. It's another one. If we did the top 10, it'd be on my phone.
We'd
have to have a think, but I don't. We're not there for that. So yeah, Bryan. Yeah, Bryan SummerSlam 2013.
Yeah,
I think so.
So now we progress to the round of 16 on the first side of the brackets, and it doesn't look great for Umaga. CM Punk Money in the Bank 2011 versus Umaga 2007. I think it's closer than maybe...
Here's the thing, we've talked about this in the past, that we try and do these things as unbiasedly as possible, but we also don't want to always be what everyone else does, sort of thing. And you got to remember that Money in the Bank match there's a specialness about it, there's an iconicness about it with what was happening with the storyline, what was happening with Punk. And I think the matches, as amazing the matches, there's a lot of pomp and circumstance that goes around it that props it up a little bit more. There's some bells and whistles. Not normal bells and whistles wrestle, but there's a lot of bells and whistles of, is Punk leaving, the match that build up, the storyline's really great, blah, 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 blah. The Umaga match may be one of the greatest last man standing matches of all time. Because you know me, I'm not a fan of a last man standing match.
No, I don't know.
I don't like them. Because, it's quite boring at the end.
Takes too long to finish.
Takes too long and all that jazz.
So you have to give that credit. But I think that the bells and whistles, and that depends what criteria you're talking about. Are you just purely basing it on wrestling bell to bell?
It's how you want to judge it. Like, no. I was just saying that we've always got to be careful of going, Punk wins this, because you just assume. In this case, Punk wins. Yeah. But I tell you what, this Umaga match really is, as you said, way closer than anyone realises. This match just gets harder and rougher and tougher. These two go hell for leather at each other. And fair play to Umaga, he held his own, because quite frankly, he could have just been an easy monster, very Hogan-esque, and just wiped the floor with him. But I tell you what, Cena definitely stays with him, because Umaga goes balls to the wall. He really does. Yeah. He really, really does. He was like someone like a Rusev before there was a Rusev. And that type of thing. A Bronson Reed and all that shit. But in this case, I think Money in the Bank Punk 2011 is going through to the quarters.
I think so.
Brock can't get away from it.
He can't, right, the Firefly Funhouse, I can't say that correctly at all. The Firefly Funhouse against Brock Lesnar at Extreme Rules 2012.
That was brutal.
Oh,
That felt
amazing.
real.
Yeah,
That felt
and
real.
it was Brock's first match.
It's something we
back.
hadn't seen for years.
Yeah.
PG era, there was blood.
Oh.
They went hell for leather. Brock nearly killed himself going over the top rope because he had
One of my favourite spots.
He forgets how powerful and speedy he actually is. Brock. I cannot see past the finish.
Yeah, you've got.
And I know that we can't talk about that. It's, whoever wins doesn't matter, but
it's part of it.
It made no sense. It killed Brock, and do you know what? It killed the crowd. We all went, that makes no sense. And the problem is, as far as I remember, again, I could be misremembering, the idea was Brock was meant to lose, but he'd beaten Cena so much that Cena was meant to go out on a stretcher, and I think Cena went for a little bit of business on his own and got up and was fine, and celebrated and did all this stuff. They're going, you've now killed the whole point. Brock agreed to lose his first match against Cena, which, yeah, fair enough, it's Cena, but Cena was meant to be beaten by a pulp, and he got up and he was fine at the end and celebrated, and you're like, you've gone away from it.
Yeah.
It's really annoying. And I can't get away from that. I really can't.
I can't get away from it either. And I would be very indecisive on this, but I think if we've already sacrificed the triple threat to the Funhouse, I'm going. Then if we're going with that logic, this has to be Extreme Rules, and I love that match.
It's a fantastic. It's we've talked about this before. It's a fantastic 95%. Same with Seth Rollins at SummerSlam. I put this in the same boat. This match is one of the best hardcore matches. They go hell of a lot. It made Brock look amazing. Yeah. He still looked like a UFC fighter.
Yeah.
But quite frankly, Firefly Funhouse, that we can't say, Firefly Funhouse is going to beat it. I actually personally would have put it ahead of it anyway, because they're two spectacles, and for me, that was different to that. That just felt like we'd gone back 10 years.
Yeah.
It was like JBL, Cena, and all that jazz.
Magical.
So I will still go the Firefly Funhouse, but oh god.
Yeah.
Firefly Funhouse is like
on a run
here.
Yeah.
Brock Lesnar is just like going, I've had two great matches with Cena. What are you doing?
I think I would have put it ahead of this.
I think so. Anyway, Firefly Funhouse.
We have a rated RKO face off here. It's Randy Orton.
We have the greatest match ever.
Yeah. Oh my god. Randy Orton bragging rights 09 against Edge Unforgiven TLC. I think we're going Edge.
Yeah, I've got Edge. There's not much more to talk about. We'll talk about the bragging rights match. I think the Edge match is better. The Iron Man match is their best match. I think we'd agree that's probably their best match. There's not much other Cena or Orton on here. There might be one more potentially, but in my eyes, the Edge match, their rivalry was fantastic. That's the one person I'm really sad is not in WWE. Because everyone goes, who do you want to face? Edge was the one I wanted. Because everyone's going, oh, I want this, I want this, I want this. So, I want to watch Randy again. No! Stop it. I would love to watch a Cena Edge game one more time, mainly for the promo. Mainly for the promo. 100%. But Edge is the better match here.
Yeah. We have The Rock at WrestleMania 28 versus Daniel Bryan SummerSlam 2013.
Bryan.
Do you think Bryan?
Bryan.
I love Cena and The Rock, but I think,
it's a better match.
I think
it's a world-class match. Bryan looks like a star.
Rock, Cena more iconic, but this
is the start of Bryan becoming a main eventer. So it's as iconic as you realise, and it is SummerSlam.
No, I get that.
It's SummerSlam. It's
I get it.
Cena and The Rock is Cena and The Rock.
Yeah,
but in terms of a match, which match are you going back to watch?
Depends what mood I'm in.
Of course.
You
mark.
No, what? How am I a mark for enjoying Rock? Bryan? If I was more of a Bryan fan, would I not be more of a mark? Just because I prefer one match over the other doesn't make me a mark.
And he's like, Cena, Orton, Cena.
No,
Rock,
I don't want to watch Cena Orton.
Edge, yay.
What does that even mean? You just listed matches in a funny voice. That means nothing.
And that's your voice. But Daniel Bryan, yeah?
Yes, yes, Daniel Bryan. So I'm gone with it. It's harsh. I don't like what's
We're really glad that you're our friend.
Are you?
I can't remember. Let it be. Whatever, who cares? Anyway, good luck.
CM Punk, Money in the Bank 2011 versus the Firefly Funhouse.
This is our first quarterfinal of the top half. I'm going to say this now, that the Firefly Funhouse has had a great run, and I think it could have made the final if it hadn't drawn CM Punk Money in the Bank 2011.
Yeah. You know what? The Firefly Funhouse had a tough look at the draw.
I mean, not going to lie, the fact that it's made the quarters with this draw is incredible.
Yeah. It does just about have to be Punk, because that, you want to talk about iconic, that's wrestling folklore.
Yeah, it is. Well, they're both, I think. Folklore.
They are.
I think they're both. I think we're talking about this could easily have been the final.
Yes.
I think we're talking about two things that will be remembered forever, and I think Bray Wyatt, sadly passing, makes this even more, because it's his magnum opus. It's literally his Godfather. It's be remembered forever. If you even if you're not a fan of Bray Wyatt, no one's not a fan of this. If you don't like this, I don't understand what you want from wrestling. I don't get it. But the match, and do you know what? Why? I've only got one reason it actually doesn't beat Punk.
Oh.
I only have one reason. Not in front of a crowd.
Yeah.
If this wasn't in COVID and was watched by more people, even if it was just on the screens, I don't even care.
Yeah.
I think this might have just hedged it. So I am going to go Punk, but I tell you what, in my eyes, you can't judge them because one is a 5-star classic and one is a 5-star classic for a completely different reason. It showed you what you can do with wrestling.
Yes.
And it was special, and I want to see a version of it again. I really do.
I would love to,
but
if that was possible.
Punk through to the quarterfinals?
Semi-final.
Punk through to the semi-final.
Yep. And now in the other quarterfinal, we have Edge at Unforgiven 2006 and Bryan 2013. I think I know what you're going to say.
I don't know.
Do you know?
No.
I thought you'd say Bryan.
I would have gone Edge.
Really?
Yeah, I think Edge is
I can get on board with Edge.
I think the storyline, the Toronto crowd, the TLC aspect, the fact that it's a match Cena's not been in, it's a match that Edge is dominant in, the ending's phenomenal. The what they do in the match is really good. They've got some really clever, creative spots. And the Cena Bryan thing is just a really good, strong match and it showcased how good Bryan had never had a chance to actually have a one-on-one match on a stage, and he got to show it. Bryan then had better matches, and I'm going to say this: that Cena ended up having better matches. But I think we should represent Cena's early career, and personally, I think pre-2008, I think this is his best match.
Yeah,
and I think out of respect for that, and the fact that I think it's a better match generally, but it's a wrestling match versus a gimmick match, which is very difficult to judge. I do think, in the grand scheme of things, with everything that goes with it, it's a better match.
Yeah, I think I'd probably just give Edge the edge.
Edge has the edge over Bryan. I could have had Bryan Punk in the semi-final. I can't believe they missed each other in AEW.
I'm fuming.
I can't believe
I'm
that.
so annoyed that happened. But yes,
Edge through.
And now it's time for the semi-final of the first bracket. This has been hard work getting here.
Oh.
CM Punk Money in the Bank 2011, Edge Unforgiven TLC.
CM Punk Money in the Bank.
It is, yeah.
It's a great match, Edge. It's really, really good. I actually think there are better matches that were on this side of the draw. I think the triple threat at Firefly Funhouse, I think could have ratcheted. Brock Lesnar Extreme Rules. I don't think it's on the same level at all. I think, from a gimmick standpoint, is it Cena's best ever gimmick match? Could we agree on that potentially?
You can argue.
It's up there, I think.
Maybe the Extreme Rules match.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. True. Well, I could have put. Yeah, it's tough. It would be in the top 2, 3 at the very least. But I think, generally speaking, Punk, as much as it's basic, I think with the matches it's took on, the only one that was a difficult one was Firefly Funhouse, which, as you said, could have been a final. I am going to go with CM Punk.
Yeah, agreed. So to kick things off on the other half of the bracket,
I really hope this is just as difficult as the other one, because if all the good matches are over there, good grief,
it shows.
I have a feeling this is a lighter side of the draw.
Well, so you never know. We started off with a banger. AJ Styles SummerSlam 2016, just to prove you wrong.
Wow.
And JBL at Judgment Day 2005.
Oh wow, the bloodbath.
Yeah.
This puts Cena on the map. That puts Cena on the map. It's JBL's best match.
So arguably what the Mania match should have been.
Could you do that? Could you do that on WrestleMania?
Maybe.
In that, I know it's Ruthless Aggression. They could have blood, but how many things bled at WrestleMania that weren't maybe the main event? And I'll also point out the main event did have blood. Triple H bled in the main event, and they needed that to bolster Batista's. And I don't know.
I get it.
And it was the first match. It was a terrible match at WrestleMania. That match was awesome. Ended with the exhaust. But the annoying thing is that thing that bugs me a lot. I quit. I'll hit you with the thing anyway. I quit. I'll throw you in the thing. God, stop doing that. What a match that is, though, with Jibbles. It's JBL's best match. He should have had every match should have been hardcore.
Well, that's what it was with EOP, really.
Yeah, it was.
However, it's Styles.
It's AJ Styles SummerSlam. I think we'll talk about it a bit later because, but JBL has been screwed over there just like the triple threat. I think that could have got really far. I think that's a really good match. And maybe I was wrong. Maybe it isn't isn't the best, God, that's so good. But yeah, AJ Styles.
We've got a bit of evolution for you here. We've got Randy Orton at Breaking Point 2009, the I Quit match. Yeah. And we've got Triple H at WrestleMania 22.
Tough. That Triple H one was weird because the build-up was essentially, you're a bad wrestler. But by Triple H, you're like, he's the champion. So in kayfabe, that makes no sense. The champion's the best. You don't have to be a good wrestler to be the champion. It made no sense. I hated the build-up to that match. But the match itself, underrated little banger. Arguably could be Triple H's best match at WrestleMania. People don't talk about it enough because they always off going on with the obvious ones. And when I say obvious, I mean opponents. This was really good. I think people had Cena hatred in 2006 to give him any due. It's a really good match. Randy Orton Breaking Point.
It's good. That's why he's got him with the handcuffs and the cane.
I like that.
Great image.
I like
Fantastic.
that image.
And Cena sells it magnificently.
But what's the problem with that match? You knew the winner.
Oh, you never seen.
You knew the winner. Cena's not losing an I Quit match.
Good finish.
And it was tough. Remind me of the finish. Remind the viewers of the finish.
He gets. So I think Orton still has one of his handcuffs there, and I think he gets Orton's wrist and handcuffs, and then he basically takes Orton like that in an STF position, and it looks brutal, much better than an actual STF.
Yeah.
And Orton eventually quits. It's a good finish.
So where are you going then?
For me, I would say Triple H.
I'm going to veto.
Really?
I genuinely think the Randy Orton match, as much as I knew the obvious answer, Cena is better at this point. Randy's better at this point than he ever been. Randy never got as good as this for years, until probably about now, actually. I think Randy's doing some of his best work. And this, as I said before, I thought their bragging rights was their best match. I think this is their second best match. And I do think this is better than Triple H.
You like Cena versus Orton more than you admit.
No. They did. There's a list of, there's about 30 matches they did.
Yeah.
I've put the 2 best ones on there. I think there might be a third.
We should do a brackets of Cena Orton
No,
matches.
no. I put the 3 best on there because there are 3, but they had 30 matches or something daft. Yeah. And if you start including tags and that, and they're so boring, but their gimmick matches became better. So I'm actually going to veto, mainly because I do think it's better than Triple H.
Fair enough.
Or on Raw.
So Raw,
oh my
the
God.
best match. You know how you said this would be the weak side of the.
Wow.
So we've got 2 absolute bangers. CM Punk in the Raw in the lead up to Mania 29 for the right to face The Rock. You know, he was just a pile driver.
Uh-huh.
And then Shawn Michaels in the UK, I believe, for an hour on Raw for a non-title match, and Shawn wins. How do you do this? They're 2 very similar types of matches.
I've got 2 scars about this as well. The Punk one, he says that's one of his, if not best match he's ever had.
Yeah, he did.
It's in his top 3.
Yeah.
And the Shawn Michaels one wasn't meant to go an hour. Randy and Edge, one of them didn't turn up or couldn't get there. They had travel problems. Because Randy and Edge was scheduled for that night. And then we were all watching the match going, why don't you bring Randy and Edge? And then the match kept going and going and going and going. So I don't know how long it took them to realise they had to go an hour or whatever. I don't know if what I'm saying is actually true.
I think I might have heard a story where John Cena the night before was getting really drunk with Ric Flair in the bar.
Yes, it is, yeah.
And I think someone called him and said, you need to do an hour.
You need to go home now.
But I thought that was because they said you needed to do
Maybe. There's a lot, you see what I mean? There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
The matches itself, though, without the scar. Sam, I'm going to leave this to the judge. Because personally, I think both of these matches are unbelievable. The Punk match, no. Do you know what? No, I do have an opinion. Cena, Shawn Michaels, you didn't know who was going to win. Title wasn't on the line. Punk, Cena, you knew who was going to win.
Yeah.
You only had doubt. You were hoping that they'd go triple threat. You were hoping it was your last dance. But the match is phenomenal, even though you knew the winner. Does it matter if you know the winner? If the match is that phenomenal. Wow. What do you do?
And Punk was ill. He had the flu as well. He's really ill.
Oh, my God.
I would probably edge Punk, but you can veto it if you want.
I think, do you know what? I'm going to. Yeah. I think the Shawn Michaels one, but the fact that they went an hour and Cena, do you know what? We talked about pre-2000. No, I've got it wrong.
Again, yeah.
This is Cena's best match pre 2008.
And all I will say is, yes, okay, so you don't know who's going to win with Cena and Shawn.
Yeah.
That was a non-title. That was technically for nothing. And at least, yes, you knew Cena was going to win, but that mattered stakes-wise more.
Yeah, I get the stakes thing, but you know what, Sam? It led to another match because of it, and the match is an hour, non-title, but it's not Iron Man or anything like that, and they kept going, and it was exciting, and the UK fans got a belter.
Oh.
Do you know what? No, I am vetoing. I'm going to take that down to 2. I'm taking Michaels for an hour. I actually am. I do think it is better because, fair play, they went that hour. And the thing with the Punk one is I just knew the winner. And I just ruined it for me. But
takes you out of it.
But not much. But it does make you a bit get to the win when Cena wins. But wow, what a match. What both matches. Wow.
So next up we have Kevin Owens at the Chamber 2015 and Michaels at Mania 23.
Can I talk about the Kevin Owens match?
You can.
This is the first one. And it's either this one or the money back. Whichever one was the first one. I'm taking this as the first one. I think it's the first one. They don't leave the ring.
Yeah.
They don't leave the ring. They have an entire match in the ring, and it is perfect. It put over a brand new star. It showed that Vince liked Kevin Owens. Because every time they get an NXT call-up, they failed. and he NXT champion. And I only have one quarrel with it. I can't believe I've got a quarrel with this match. And it's the same quarrel I've had a few times. I knew who was going to win this match.
Did you?
It wasn't a United States Open challenge.
Yeah, I get that.
And it wasn't for the NXT title. They just, for some reason, so Cena's in this big run of US Open challenges. Every match he has is a US Open challenge, apart from randomly against Kevin Owens. Because Kevin went, I don't need this title. Put his foot on it, didn't he? Stamped on it.
Yeah.
Makes no sense. And you cannot tell me it makes no sense. So sadly, going into the match, they're going, Kevin is winning this. But they overcame that by having an unbelievably great match.
I would probably put Shawn a little bit ahead, but that's so harsh on this one. And this could go into a Hall of Fame at some point for me, because this was the first time you saw a new star, even as a heel, just beat Cena clean. There's no shenanigans in there.
No, there's clean as a whistle.
As a whistle, centre of the ring.
Got his move over as well.
And wins, and that was like, whoa.
And do you know what? He won with disdain. Got up and was like, yeah, I knew I was going to beat you.
Yeah,
and
he did a promo after it.
He looked amazing, Kevin did. Oh, yeah, and Michaels at Mania 23. What a match. What a match. Shawn Michaels led Cena through some unbelievable matches.
Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania.
And he tapped again. He tapped to Cena. Both Triple H and Shawn Michaels tapped.
Yeah.
To Cena's move. Got it massively over. Could not got him more over if he tried.
Exactly. So I would edge it.
Where are you going, sorry?
Michaels at Mania. Mania main event, you're going to veto?
I'm vetoing again.
Really? I think that highly?
I think Owens' match is genuinely one of the greatest matches, particularly a debut, of all time. And I actually think it is a better match. It's more memorable. If you'd asked me about things in that Shawn Michaels match, I'm genuinely, and I watched it live again. I have got much, but I tell you what, that Owens match I remember so clearly. I told you, I remember it's crystal clear. I think it's a phenomenal match. And I think Cena, it's now just starting to come through. He's done his United States Champion, and then suddenly he's had these pay-per-view level matches. And these trilogies are all awesome. Yeah. But this one was the better one. And this one going through, I'm going down to one more veto, Sam.
Wow.
This is the best one.
So, we now go to
finally, a matchup that's rubbish.
Bit of a drop, thankfully. Randy Orton SummerSlam 09 and Kurt Angle SmackDown 2002.
Debut.
Yeah, it is his debut.
Yeah.
It's his debut.
Yeah.
It was a good match.
Unexpected. No one knew who he was. Had a really good match.
I don't remember a lot about Orton in SummerSlam. I don't remember that for any particular reason.
Well, it's 32 matches. Eventually, you're going to get one that isn't going to be that many. But people remember it. Isn't it? Didn't Orton cheat? Isn't there an Orton cheat in there?
It's high.
Not going to lie. It's not very good in a bracket when you've completely forgotten about a match. But that says a lot about Cena and Orton.
Yeah.
And personally, I actually think his debut is better.
Yeah, same. I remember.
It's a really good match.
It is a good match.
I just wish that he wasn't one with a silly roll-up, you think?
No, I got it, though, because it's like...
Angle's a better wrestler.
Yeah, exactly, and just scraped past him.
But what a match, and what a debut. It looked great. It put him as a star, and they didn't use him after that properly until he wrapped at Halloween. Why would you not use him? Give him a character. Yeah. But Kurt Angle's SmackDown 2002.
Agreed. Triple H and Edge at Backlash 2006 versus RVD One Night Stand 2006.
This is a better match than the Triple H match at WrestleMania, Triple H and Edge.
Is it?
Much better match. I'm glad that Edge got a chance, because Edge obviously had lost his title and then beat Foley. It's a good match. It's a really, really solid match. It's really entertaining, and they work the finish really well. However, that match with RVD is iconic. Is the match actually that good? It's actually fine.
It doesn't have to.
But it didn't need to be. What a crowd. The shirt throwing thing.
And the fact that Cena went into that as well.
Cena, this is the thing, we always talk about this. RVD is a passenger in this match. Cena proved this night he got it. The walkout with the thing, which obviously he recreated with Punk. The shirt thing, he kept going. He could have easily stopped after one. He kept it going. RVD finally got some heat by going Rob Van Dam during all of that, but at the time, RVD was forgotten. He could have been in the ring with Balls Mahoney at that point, and we wouldn't have known. And then the match is really, really, really good. It's a really, really good match.
Yeah.
The Edge with a bicycle helmet on.
Why?
Because originally it was meant to be Randy.
Right.
And Randy wasn't meant to be taking on Kurt. It was meant to be Randy's return in that thing. And they were not to not know who it was. But the problem is, it was clearly Edge. And he just went, and then he took the helmet off, therefore making the whole point pointless. When you're having a mask or a helmet on, you're meant to deceive who you are. Someone's like, who are you? Are you with me?
Use the spear.
Yeah, and took all of the spear. Edge went through the table. Cena's like, to the side I go. Yeah. But apart from that ending, and then Paul Heyman counting the finish is perfect. Really, really good. Triple H and Edge, good match. Really solid triple threat match. Another triple threat match that's going down by the wayside.
Oh, no.
But Rob Van Dam, One Night Stand.
It's got to go.
Yeah, oh my God. Okay.
All right. So, we've got a double serving here. AJ Styles Money in the Bank 2016 versus AJ Styles the Royal Rumble 2017.
There's an obvious winner here.
There is, but it's
Well,
Money in
so
the Bank's
it-
hard done by.
Yes, it is. The Money in the Bank one has a screw finish at the end, I think. Gallows and Anderson get involved.
Yeah.
The Royal Rumble match, though probably not as good as another match we have discussed, is still a phenomenal match. They keep kicking out of stuff, and it's great. I'm not a fan of a kick out, you know me, but sometimes the match needs it, and these guys have had such an incredible matches, you deserve kick outs.
Yeah.
And that's how it is. And also, I'll always say, people deserve to kick out when you've had enough matches with someone that you've learned how to move to take it, or you've learned the pain around it and stuff like that. But we never talk about that psychology in wrestling. The Money in the Bank match is good.
Yeah,
It's really, really good. He wins that match, doesn't he, AJ?
Yeah.
Because then he wins again at SummerSlam, which no one was expecting him to
because
do.
Cena won the 6-man tag at Battleground.
Yes.
He tagged Enzo and
Yeah,
Cass.
Enzo and Cass.
Yeah, randomly.
Yeah.
And then, you'd never expected Styles to win clean at SummerSlam.
Yeah, SummerSlam's the one that throws people because, like, you've already won one, you're going to win this one, aren't you? And he's like, no, wins it clean because Gallows and Anderson don't get involved. But so I think we're clear that the Royal Rumble is the better one. It's a fantastic match. Oh my God, what a match. That AA avalanche into a kick out. Oh my God. And then Cena does his roll through for the first time. F you.
Yeah.
Roll through, F you, showing how amazing he is. I could watch Cena AJ Styles all day long.
Same.
All day long. I genuinely think when people go, I want to watch him versus Randy Orton, I want to watch him versus CM Punk, I'm just sat there like, AJ.
I just want to see
AJ
him.
is top of my list.
I want to see him just in a segment where he just stands in the ring with AJ Styles this year.
I'm sorry.
Goes,
I think it's his best ever opponent.
yeah.
I really do.
Wrestling-wise, yeah.
No. I think the rivalry's really good. The Punk thing is not about Cena.
No,
When Punk's involved, Cena
I'm more
is...
thinking Edge.
Yeah, Edge is second for me, Punk's third, because I don't think Cena is a massive thing to do with Punk. Kevin Nash is more involved than Cena is, and Del Rio's more involved. But with Styles, the rivalry... I mean, for God's sake, they got the chant, beat up John Cena over. Oh, what... These two matches are phenomenal, as is another match in the draw.
As is AJ Styles.
But AJ Styles... Oh, I love AJ Styles. But Royal Rumble 2017 is the better match between these two. Hoo-hoo!
So now we cap the round of 32 off with Christian and Chris Jericho at Vengeance in a triple threat in 05.
Yes, 05, yeah. So, so sad.
And a match that's in my Hall of Fame.
It is. You have put it in your Hall of Fame.
Brock Lesnar SummerSlam 2014.
Well, we've got two completely different spectrums. Another triple threat match that could be in trouble here.
Oh, for me it is.
The Jericho Christian match is actually just a really good match. It's really, really good. It's probably, if you have this list of 32, it's probably down the 30th mark. This is the reason Christian went to TNA, is he literally he had a great rivalry with Cena. Cena was new to Raw. Christian was the one who pretty much confronted him the first time. They had a great promo off, and Vince just doesn't like Christian. Have you heard the thing about Todd Grisham? So, Todd Grisham, you know when Christian and Todd Grisham went, it's Christian.
Oh, yeah,
That's
yeah.
a Vince directive.
You're joking.
They literally, someone put it on Twitter a couple of months ago, about 4 months ago, and it said, I can't believe Todd Grisham did Christian this dirty. And Todd Grisham responded going, Vince was in my ear, don't make a big deal of it, just say it's Christian.
Why?
So Todd Grisham's been painted with this brush for years.
Yeah, he has.
20 years later, pretty much, 15 years later, it turns out it's Vince. He just hates Christian. He want to put a blue dot on his face. He just doesn't get him. I think he's one of those people, Vince, where if he takes a hating for you, there's no reason. He hates sneezing and stuff like that. I mean, the man's a creep. But he screwed Christian over here.
Wow.
This should have been one-on-one with Christian, and it would have been great, and you could have moved to Jericho afterwards. Put Jericho as the referee if you weren't sure about Christian's star power, but Jericho's the referee, Christian loses, and then you can move on, whatever. But Christian literally just went, this is it. You've moved me away from the one-on-one match. I don't even get a chance. I'm off to TNA, and he had a phenomenal run in TNA.
Completely proved them wrong.
Yeah.
Because he's amazing.
However, the Brock match, I think we'll talk about a little bit later, is probably the more spectacle. So a lot of you think it's not that better a match, but the spectacle we'll talk about.
Well, there's different ways to have a good match.
We'll talk about Brock.
So we've got just looking down at this. AJ Styles SummerSlam.
We can take a breath on this one.
AJ Styles 2016 SummerSlam. Randy Orton Breaking Point 09. I think this
AJ SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Get it.
Right, let's get
Still
that one.
haven't really talked about it, yeah.
Yeah, no, but we won't. AJ, it's better than the Randy Orton match. But well done, Randy Orton, for making a second round.
Oh no. So we have Shawn Michaels against Kevin Owens again. Shawn Michaels for an hour on Raw against Kevin Owens.
It's my two vetoes.
Yes.
I vetoed these
So
through.
who are you going to veto against each
Do you know what? This time, Sam, I'm not going to veto either because I vetoed them both through.
Yeah.
So you didn't decide on these two, and I think it's only fair that you are the overall judge, jury, executioner of this match type. I will give you what's about these matches because I know probably both of these better than you. So you got
I know
Owens is just never leaves a ring. It's a complete clean as a whistle. Gets a new star over. Their chemistry is unbelievable first time round. They're just so slick. There was no botches. There was nothing. They knew what they were going to do. It was amazing. Shawn, they just kept going and going, and it never got boring. If you think about Brett and Shawn at WrestleMania 12, man, that match is boring. And other Iron matches are boring. The best two ever are the ones that I wouldn't say are boring, which I go with Brock and Angle, and I go Bryan and MJF. It's from AEW. Whereas these two did an hour, and it just kept getting exciting, and ended really well with that sudden super kick, as Shawn can beautifully do. I think he might have flipped out of the FU and then do that. Two phenomenal matches. You got one that's clean as a whistle, gets a new star over, and one more, a veteran in an hour-long spectacle. Where are you going?
For me, I'm going Michaels because we didn't know. I wasn't watching.
You didn't know it was going to keep going.
We didn't know it was going to keep going. It just kept going and going and going.
That's the key to a long match compared to an Iron Man. You know you've got an hour, so you have to kind of prepare yourself as a fan for watching it. Whereas this, you thought it might be over after 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour. It's Raw, remember? Some matches are still 10 minutes. And then suddenly it just kept going, And
the fans were just rabid.
They were electric. So perfect people to do it in front of was the UK fans.
Exactly.
I think it was in Manchester, I think.
I love the Owens match, and I feel sad that I've had judged against it twice.
I think it's awesome.
Yeah. It's Michaels for me.
I let you go on it. I think I prefer the Owens match.
Really?
I think I do. But I think that's my affinity with Owens.
It's incredible.
So I will go with the Shawn Michaels, hour long.
Angle 2002 versus RVD 2006. I think this is an easy one.
RVD 2006. RVD. It's pretty cut and shut. The SmackDown one is great spectacle, but if you're putting them side by side, they're just not even close. But what a debut. One of the best debuts ever.
Oh no, Sam. This is right up there for the hardest ones. What? Styles at the Rumble in 2017 against Brock at SummerSlam 2014. Let's
talk about Brock, because we haven't done that.
Yes.
You're going in, and you think to yourself, well, this match wasn't really meant to happen either, if I recall, because Bryan gets injured. This was meant to... This whole match, by the way, if you think about this now, everyone puts this on such a pedestal. This was meant to happen to Bryan. This was they literally just didn't change the booking. But this just... No one was ready for this. I put this up there with like Brock Goldberg in Survivor Series. You were just going, oh, we were all just waiting for the do.
Yeah.
And I think bar one FU,
well, we thought
it never came.
Even if Brock still won, you'd think, oh, Cena would nearly get there and Brock would just skim it. No, it was a slow, methodical destruction. This was a physical destruction in the same way that the 5 Funhouse was a mental destruction.
You got two completely different ends of the spectrum. Yes, absolutely.
It was...
Because Cena got squashed in that.
Yeah.
You could argue Cena was squashed in
pretty
that.
much
Because he couldn't overcome Bray's manipulation, and he couldn't overcome Brock's power.
Force.
But the other thing is about it, I have to try and detach my brain, because it doesn't count what I'm about to say. Because it's nothing to do with the match.
Right.
This produced Suplex City.
Yeah.
And it ruined a lot, if not the majority of Brock's matches from this point onward. Yeah. We were into it at first, counting along and all that jazz, but then it's all he became to. If you watch Brock matches prior to 2014, they weren't, they weren't like this. Match, Punk is a great example. Loads. Even the Triple H ones aren't that great. They're not like suplexes and stuff. It's almost like Brock went, I don't need to wrestle anymore. I could do the suplexes and everyone will be on board. And it just ruined a lot of his matches, if not all of them, until he somebody likes to wrestle, like an AJ Styles. His opponent today, a Daniel Bryan. Finn Balor, weirdly.
Yeah.
Where are you hedging?
I think maybe if this was the SummerSlam match, I'd put it above the Brock SummerSlam match. The Styles 2016. For me, I'm going Lesnar. And that's harsh on this Royal Rumble match. And this is he wins the 16th world title. Yeah. But I think this is such a unique match, whereas there's a lot of matches on here that are similar style to the Styles match.
I will allow Brock to go through in the same vein as the reason we put the Firefly Funhouse through. I think if we're going to have that as the criteria earlier, then I think the same criteria goes through here.
This match makes you feel something. They both do, but there's a very unique feel.
I would say that the AJ one is obviously a better match than the one you would rewatch.
Yeah.
But the recreation, to be fair, the AJ Cena, everyone's in it. It's the highlight of the show. But no, I will agree with you. I will let Brock go through here.
So here we are in the quarterfinal, and I'm in a lot of pain here. AJ Styles SummerSlam 2016 versus Shawn Michaels for an hour on Raw.
I've only got one winner.
Styles?
It's AJ Styles.
It is Styles.
I think the AJ Styles match against Cena at SummerSlam is maybe arguably one of the most perfect matches of all time, and I don't understand why it's not put in a higher category with other people. Generally, the Shawn Michaels match is phenomenal. Pay-per-view quality and worthy. The AJ Styles match, though, I wish was the main event.
Yeah.
Because it was better than the main event.
Oh, it was the Brock Orton stuff.
No, Brock Undertaker. No, that's no.
2016 was Brock Orton.
Brock Orton's 2017, isn't it?
No, 2016. It is.
Okay.
Because Goldberg comes later that year. It is.
Fair enough. Either way, I knew the SummerSlam run were not great for a while. Anyway, yes, so AJ Styles for me.
So, oh, this is a very interesting one. RVD 2006 One Night Stand or Lesnar at SummerSlam 2014. I know where I'm heading.
I know where I'm heading.
Where are you heading?
You go first. You're the judge.
I'm going. Look, I love the RVD match, but I'm going Brock. Do you disagree? Shall I make the point?
You're gonna have to convince me here, Sam.
Okay, so John Cena has been this ultra protected wrestler for about 10 years.
Remember, this is the best match.
No, but you've got to take in the context going into the match.
I agree.
Why this is good, because you could have this match beat for beat, move for move, with Brock just squashing a random person on Raw, and it wouldn't be anything. There's a context as to why this match is as good as it is, because you've never seen anything like this happen to Cena before, and you haven't even seen anything like this since.
And your same argument I could put exactly with the Cena RVD.
Well, go on then.
You'd never seen anything like that before.
Yeah.
Cena being voraciously booed, the shirts being thrown back, the crazy fans all 100% against Cena. They've been booing them, but this is visceral, this is guttural, this is ravenous fans excited for ECW. Sam, it don't matter what's happening, RVD is going through to the semi-finals. I'm using my last last time I can do it anyway.
Yeah.
It's before the semi-finals. And I genuinely believe that you're saying like this is a once-in-a-lifetime type thing. I think the RVD Cena one, you can't recreate that. That is it may not be the same in terms of how it's produced, because you're absolutely agree, that squash match is the greatest squash match in the history of wrestling. From a protected character, and it gave something in your mind and in your soul. So did this for so many fans. They wanted it. They still didn't believe RVD was going to win, even on the thing. And he's one of the only people who's cashed in properly, in my eyes.
Yeah.
He's actually, no, I'm taking you on in a better place rather than, I won the title because you're tired. I hate it so much. Win it properly.
Future Lockbox.
Oh, it is. Yeah. Getting sick of it. It was fun at first. It's now just when people like Big E are winning it that
Big E
way.
was the one I was literally.
It's like, be a proper babyface and win it properly. But no, I am genuinely vetoing my final one. I think it's the first time in a bracket series that somebody has gone down to 0 vetoes. But I think this is a moment in time. This is a snapshot of what wrestling was. Everyone was frustrated. Everyone was getting angry. So people were sick of Cena. And the fans were mad. And the fans had a great show the year before, and this wasn't as good a show, but this show still becomes as special as the show before because everyone remembers Cena versus RVD. RVD won the title. And what sours it is sadly RVD the month after losing the title because of everything that happened. But for me, match for match, RVD is the one I've watched multiple times. I love the spectacle and that crowd. I wanted to be a part of it. So my final veto sends RVD through to the semi-finals.
And it gets no easier because we have Styles 2016 at SummerSlam versus RVD at 2006 One Night Stand.
AJ Styles SummerSlam 2016.
I agree, and it's hard to do that to RVD, but Styles.
Do you know what? There are some times when you just said off camera that maybe I'd have had the same affinity with the RVD thing because I'd have been the same age. I was 14. So, it was perfect timing for me, getting a little bit frustrated, a bit of an adult and all that stuff. But I'm so old watching the AJ Styles match. I'm 24. It's 10 years later. And by this point, you're jaded. You're not enjoying it as much. You get up for a little bit more. You're still like, oh my God, whereas I don't. I'm quite calm and becalmed watching wrestling a little bit. Like even at All In, when it was amazing, there was,
You were much calmer
I was very chill. Yeah. Outside of Nigel McGuinness. I was very chill. But this AJ Styles match, I just watch it and I just go, there's nothing I would change. It's perfection.
Oh, no, nothing at all.
Whereas the RVD one, if you're going to compare them with the feeling and all that lot, it's just the edge thing. I just wish I could take it back. So I would say that literally the only thing I compare is the crowd are mad for AJ Styles. The crowd are mad for this. The crowd are just better than this. This match is better. This match has a better finish. This match has a more memorable finish. So it's like we're talking apples and oranges here. But for me, I I still think AJ Styles SummerSlam 2016.
Oh, I'd agree. 100%.
So therefore, AJ Styles SummerSlam 2016 is through to the final.
And this is a final.
This is the hardest final we've ever had.
Yeah, RKO and the Stunner was it. The Auschwitz music that was hard. But
Yeah, that was this one. Is going to be difficult.
CM Punk, Money in the Bank 2011, AJ Styles, SummerSlam 2016. And this is where our job gets rather difficult.
And this is what we get paid the big bucks for, Sam.
That's true.
All those lunches I bake for you.
Yeah, that's what I'm paid for.
I have an answer.
I think I have an answer, but I have two answers.
The referee wins.
Yeah, just choose whichever. Go on. I think I know what you're going to say.
If I look at these two, and I think about how we run society, and we always connect to our biases, and we connect to things in a lifetime, and we connect to things that happen as a moment in time, as I've just proven with RVD. Which is a better moment in time, RVD versus AJ Styles is RVD. But I look at these two matches, and if I watch them side by side, I can tell you which match I do think is the better match.
Go on.
And I think it's AJ Styles at SummerSlam 2016. And if CM Punk doesn't put this in his top, 3 matches, he's got Undertaker, Brock, and his Raw match with Cena. In my eyes, which one would I rather watch? For the spectacle, I'd rather watch Punk.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. It's that John Laurinaitis. It's rubbish. I hate that as well.
I actually like that.
I hate it. I'd rather than have done it, because it cost Cena the match, and I'd rather Punk had won it a bit more cleaner, or was about to win it and they get involved, and Punk maybe kicks him or something, something like that, rather than Cena kicking it. But I get what they do.
I like it.
For me, I'm throwing my hat in the ring. I'm not the judge of this. It's down to Baby Sam for this
don't
one.
Say that.
You're the judge. That's how it works. Semi-final and final, you're the judge. That's how it works.
Say that.
I've used my vetoes anyway. I couldn't even veto you if I didn't want to. I'm throwing my hat in the ring that genuinely, I believe that AJ Styles at SummerSlam 2016 is John Cena's best match, greatest match, most technically best match, most exciting finish, most surprising finish. I genuinely believe that the only way that could have been better was if it was the main event for the title. That's the only thing it was missing, was it was the main event title, which they did at the Rumble in 2017 anyway.
Put that match in the Money in the Bank circumstances.
Yes.
Whoa.
Yeah, they'd be amazing.
I have to agree with you, unfortunately, for my soul.
It hurts, but if you sit there properly, if you do it properly and don't do the biases, and this is why we do these channels, so people don't just tell you what their best is. I think this is it.
I think it is as well. I'm trying to think of, look, ultimately, the atmosphere and the crowd are a factor. They are a big factor, but I just have to go with Styles. It's wrestling gold.
It's liquid gold. You could drink it. I tell you what, it was so special. It was so special. I just couldn't get over how good this match actually was. I watched the Punk one live. Because I was that excited to watch it. Because it got me back into wrestling. This channel wouldn't exist without this match. And that's how much... If you want to go, maybe doesn't like the match. Nope. Without that match, and without Punk's return, this wouldn't be happening.
No.
I mean, you might not even be doing this anymore.
No.
You might not even be, we might be friends or whatever, but if we didn't have that wrestling connection anymore, but I don't know, we might... Who knows where me and you would be. That match is so important in my life as a wrestling fan and as a friendship with you. But AJ Styles, SummerSlam 2016, is pound for pound. It's a better match.
Yeah.
Are we doing it?
I think we're doing it.
It's official. John Cena's greatest ever match is at SummerSlam 2016 against AJ Styles. Thank you for joining us. Do you agree? I'm certain you don't. Thank you for joining us for this long one. Who do you want us to look at next? What bracketsy things do you want us to see? Do you agree? Do you disagree? What matches have we missed off? Have we missed off any matches? Aren't these 32 amazing matches? And I think we're going to conclude. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. Thanks for watching the video. We'll see you next time. But we're going to conclude. I want to finish this off is John Cena is one of the greatest in-ring workers of all time. Storytelling, writing, everything. And this 32 matches has proven it.
Yeah.
There it is.
Without doubt.